Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. The worst thing about entitled parents is that they think that people who work in the service or retail industry are always meant to listen to the customer, but not have the customer listen to them. These are people who are working there, not robots to serve our every desire. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Entitled mother yells at restaurant employee because she can't eat with her family of 5, then tries to kick me out. I witnessed my second wild Karen encounter today. In Hong Kong, during pandemic, some places require it. So today my friends and I decided to go eat ramen at a restaurant in the city. Just me, my friend, and another friend. Restaurants close down seats for social distancing, so there are less seats available. Now, this ramen restaurant is not very big, so there are only a few seats available. So here's the cast. EM, entitled mother, OP, me, F, friend, W, waiter, M, manager. So we're just minding our own business when this group of 6 walks into the restaurant. There are only a few seats available, so W informs them that they'll have to wait for the tables to clear up before they can be seated because seats are closed for social distancing. Entitled mom, what do you mean I have to wait? Waiter, because of COVID-19, we close seats for social distancing. EM, oh, okay. Why don't you seat us there? She says, pointing to a table with a sign clearly stating, closed for social distancing. W, as I said, they're closed EM, oh, it's fine, just seat us there. We don't have the virus. W, I'm sorry, I can't do that. That's EM. I'm sorry, I'm not asking you to seat us there. I'm telling you to. So please, do it now. W, if you wait 20... EM, come on, my angels are starving. She says this as she points to her family consisting of toddlers whining about having to eat ramen. W, we can seat some of you over at the bar if you guys don't need to eat as a group. Without even thanking him, she marches her family over to the bar and rips off the signs to make space for her kids. W, I'm sorry, I can't have you do that. EM, I can do whatever I want. I'm the customer. W, I'm sorry, but if you can't respect our rules, you must leave. EM, let me talk to your manager. The waiter scoffs and goes to get the manager, who's one of the chefs. Manager, what seems to be the problem? EM, you're rude, waiter. Refused to let me sit at a table, so I had to sit here. M, I'm sorry, but you can't sit here. There are signs stating that these seats your kids are sitting on are closed for social distancing. EM, I don't care. I want to eat with my family. They're starving. M, I understand, but if you can't respect these rules, I'm going to have to call the police. EM, no, I am a loyal customer and have been for a month, and I deserve better service. M, if you wait, we can seat you over there. He gestures to our table. EM, okay, how long is the wait? M, 20 minutes? EM gasps, then walks over to us. EM, you guys gotta go. Me, what? EM, you heard me, leave. You and your friends need to leave because you guys have been here too long. Me, we're not done yet. EM, don't talk back to your elders. Manager, if you don't leave now, I'm gonna call the police for harassing my customers. Realizing now that she can get in really big trouble, she and her entitled family leave. I ended up getting the meal on the house, but still, some people can still be entitled during an epidemic. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. And our second story. Small victory against HOA. I was a HOA president for the 10 years I lived in my old home. To clarify, every other term, I would step aside, but the new president would have me perform all functions. They were more comfortable making the change on paper only. I bought my new home and made sure it was in a voluntary association neighborhood. This was the case in my old neighborhood, and I'm very familiar with the differences from a mandatory HOA here in Florida. We were never given info on where to send dues, and there was never a dues drive where a rep would come to the door and ask for money. No newsletter, no accounting of funds, no communication. In 2020, I received a notice of lien on my home. So did all the neighbors I polled. All 9 immediate neighbors I asked, except one. He just built his home and joined the board. He stated that in 2019, they voted the HOA into mandatory status. I showed him that my deed has no HOA on it and my closing paperwork shows a voluntary HOA. He's from California and said that he was unsure of the legal merit of their tactic since he's new here and to the board. But as the new secretary, he witnessed the end of the process insofar as the paperwork came back from their attorney and was filed as a now mandatory HOA. I got the board president info from him and contacted him. When I told the president this tactic is absolutely not legal, he told me they paid $6,000 to a reputable attorney and is rock solid, and hung up the phone. I brought my documents to his home and knocked on his door, and he said basically the same thing and shut the door in my face. He handled inquiries from my immediate neighbors in the same fashion. After lengthy discussions with my new neighbor/secretary, he left the board due to doubts of the merit of their measure. Then the entire board quit. A new board stepped in and got a 15-minute briefing from the old president. They continued to operate under the advice that we now have a legal, filed, binding, mandatory HOA. I attended their first meeting and showed them precedent after precedent in Florida where this is not legal. They had already filed 48 new liens. Mine was one. As their first measure, they hired an attorney to pore over the whole filing of the HOA, and after $7,000 expenses are told that every aspect of the HOA was out of compliance. The only legal thing about it is that the LLC filing is proper. They now have to rescind every document back to the originals from 1963 and start over under the official advice that it will never be mandatory since it'll prove to be impossible. So they're reverting back to the original bylaws and CCR and vacating all liens, along with sincere apologies from the new board for the actions of the predecessors. I did not spend a dime. Oh, and there's no way I'm joining a HOA board. I will, however, bring copies of my vacated lien and those of my neighbors to the old president with a smile on my face. And our next story. I made her eat her words. Although most of my in-laws are wonderful, kind people, my aunt-in-law is not one. Her heart is full of bitterness, laziness, and hate. For this story, let's call her Evalie. For instance, one of her friends, let's call her Kate, became pregnant. Kate's a kind woman who loves fashion and travel. She's an amazing cook, too. Unfortunately, during her pregnancy, Kate gained a bit of weight. Now, her weight gain wasn't an issue at all, except Evalie, around 200 pounds herself, made it out to be. Evalie spent a good hour showing everyone unflattering photos of Kate, all the while laughing at how Kate is apparently much fatter than Evalie ever was. Kate wasn't the only victim. I don't know a single person in Evalie's life, except her husband and children, whom she did not say the meanest things behind their backs, only to put on a sweet, fake smile in their presence. But this is just scratching the surface. Evalie, who also is absolutely horrible to my boyfriend, you see, he came to this country as a foreign exchange student. Evalie and her husband, being the only family here, took him in as a favor to his mom, Evalie's husband's sister. What kinds of things did she do to him? They made him do most of the chores around the house and then claim she did them and call him lazy. He had to spend his whole time living there walking on eggshells and watching his every step to make sure she did not have possible dirt on him. On top of that, the aunt and uncle charged him for almost every living expense for occupying a room. Some of the stories will send your jimmies into the outer space, believe me. But this tale's not about those. You see, after some time of knowing Evalie, I realized she never cared one bit for me. She would sometimes openly talk behind my back, even in my presence. She talked down to me and ordered me around as if I owed her something. She made it openly known that she sees me just as a way of providing a green card for her nephew-in-law, my boyfriend. For a long time, I tried being nice to her to build bridges, I baked goods, cakes, breads, etc., and brought them over. For holidays like Thanksgiving, I roasted large turkeys and made accompaniments to bring over as Evely hated and sucked at cooking. As I made complex dishes, many from Gordon Ramsay's recipes, some cost me into the hundreds. Every time, all of the food was devoured with a passion. I always brought gifts and paid compliments. However, bit by bit came the point where I only pretended to enjoy her company for the sake of my boyfriend. Evely never changed her attitude towards me, despite all of my efforts. You see, my dear friends, I found out that Evely talked badly about my cooking to all of my other in-laws. She told them other bad, untrue things about me, but I didn't find out everything. While another uncle and aunt-in-law were visiting and meeting me for the first time, she made a point to talk down to me about cooking and to make them think I did not know how to cook anything. I never said anything back or defended myself. It devastated me that all that food I poured my heart, soul, and spices into was never appreciated. However, towards the end of the trip, I invited everyone to eat over at my place. They all gladly accepted. Little did my aunt know, but I prepared an amazing 3-course feast. Everything came out perfectly. There were no leftovers, as most people tried to get seconds and thirds. The most amazing part of all this was watching Evely during this, as her lies were proven wrong in front of all of her family. I cannot describe the sour face she had with words. However, I can tell you it was very satisfying to see her aware that she was caught in a lie in front of everyone that matters to her. Bonus petty revenge, I'm graduating with a degree in engineering in a few months while she dropped out of college. I know it pisses her off to no end to know that I'm succeeding where she failed. And our last story. Oh, and my friends will be coming to stay. A little over a decade ago now, my wife and I bought our farm in the bush. Not too large, mind you, but very pretty, nestled up in the mountains by the rainforest in tropical North Queensland. We had worked long and hard for this piece of paradise. On the last day of the sale, the day before the handover, we were doing the final inspection. All was good, and we were chatting with the soon-to-be previous owners, Karen and her ex-husband. I'm guessing the divorce was the reason they were selling? Previous owner Karen, oh, by the way, our friends will be coming up in 4 weeks to go camping. Me, okay, I hope they have a good time. Thinking she was referring to one of the many camping sites in our area? Karen, yeah, so if you could make sure the gate's open and the paddock grass kept short, that'd be great. Me, wait, what? Karen, yeah, they come up every year and really enjoy it here. Me, okay, Karen, they may have come here while you owned this place, but that'll have to stop now. I will have cattle in that paddock by then. You'll need to call them and tell them to find somewhere else. Karen, but I told them they could stay. Me, yeah, but I didn't, so it's not happening. Karen got huffy and tried to get her ex-husband to reason with me. He told her to pull her head in. Talking to him later, this was all news to him also, but he couldn't stand the people coming. Told me to send them packing if they did show up. Fortunately, this was the last of it, and I didn't have to deal with her visitors. This is one of those things where you need to down half a bottle of Bundy rum to start unraveling how, in her mind, she thought this was perfectly acceptable. Hey guys, thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.